What's up, Met fans? Welcome back. Talking Mets and Rob. How's everybody doing? Before I get started talking about the Mets and Rockies game series recap, don't forget, guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit on that like button. You enjoying my content? Want to see more? Want to get notified when I post my videos and when I go live? Hit on that subscribe button, everybody. And don't forget to leave a comment below about the video and about what you thought about the series against the Mets and the Rockies. Alright, guys. So, the New York Mets took 2 out of 3 against the Colorado Rockies in snowy Colorado. Obviously, the first game of the series got postponed due to snow, so the Mets had to play 2 7-inning doubleheaders, which they split. The first game, they won 4-3. Second game of the doubleheader, they didn't play well at all. They didn't hit. They lost 7-2. In Game 3, the New York Mets won 2-1 in a close game, which involved a lot of close plays and an interesting ending in Game 3. We will go over each and every game really quick and the stars of those games. So, Game 1 of the doubleheader, 7-inning doubleheader, Jacob deGrom was absolutely awesome. He was so dominant in this game. He had pitched 6 innings, 9 consecutive strikeouts in a row. Almost got to the Seaver record, but unfortunately didn't get there. But again, he was completely dominant in this game. Gave up a couple of runs, but they were unearned. He had 14 strikeouts for the second consecutive game. And he just let the Colorado Rockies just look foolish throughout the whole game. Was absolutely excellent during this game. Knocked his ERA to 0.45 on the season. And Jacob deGrom was absolutely dominant, which we expected. Was absolutely perfect in this game. Because if there wasn't no errors, he would have probably given up no runs in this game. But he was absolutely dominant. The Mets finally gave him the first win of the season with the Francisco Lindor go-ahead run in the top of the 7th. Right before that, Jonathan Villar hits a double down the right field line, which drove in a close play at the plate, Albert Amora Jr., that scored the tie-in run that helped Lindor get the base hit to bring in the 4th run of the game that eventually won the game, with Diaz saving the game in the bottom of the 7th inning. The Mets won the first game 4-3. That is the highlight of Game 1. Jacob deGrom, awesome. Jonathan Villar and Francisco Lindor with the big hits. And Edwin Diaz closing out a close game, which we need him to do for this Mets team to go anywhere. So Game 1, Jacob deGrom, Jonathan Villar, Francisco Lindor are the key guys of Game 1 to put the Mets over the top 4-3. In Game 2, Marcus Stroman had another outstanding performance, bringing his record to 3 wins, no losses on the season. He pitched 8 innings with a very, very low pitch count. Absolutely dominant, which also brings his ERA to 0.90 on the season. Marcus Stroman has been absolutely great this season so far and pitched extremely well with a great defensive play, behind the back play late in the game. Marcus Stroman did absolutely everything he needed him to do in this game and in this season so far. Not what I was expecting from Marcus Stroman, but he's been very good. He shut me up, and that's exactly what I want. I want him to shut me up. And he has pitched absolutely excellent in Colorado. Didn't have a lot of strikeouts, but kept the pitch count low. Kept these guys off balance throughout the whole game. Played extremely, extremely well. And that's exactly what we need from a number 2 starter in this rotation, right behind deGrom. With Game 3 of a 2-1 score, it was a ground ball that drove in the first run of the ball game from Jeff McNeil that made it 1-0. And then J.D. Davis got a base hit to drive in the second run of the ball game. It was looking good, a 2-0 lead. And then Marcus Stroman gave up the 1 run to Charlie Blackmon on a base hit, which drove in that 1 run of the ball game in the 7th inning. But Marcus Stroman settled down, came back out in the 8th, shut it down, and then Edwin Diaz again in Game 3 came in there and shut the door down to close the game. But not only was it Edwin Diaz, it was James McCann throwing out Trevor Story at second base to end the game with a cannon of a throw from James McCann to win the game. Fist pumps by Francisco Lindor at second base to end the game. It was a thrilling victory. It was a great series win. The Mets are now 7-4 on the season, which is great to see. We saw a lot of good things from Michael Conforto. Looked like he's starting to break out of it. We saw Pete Alonso having good at-bats. The rotation looks good. The bullpen looks good. Diaz looks good. Right now, there's not a lot to complain about with this Mets team. We had a lot of postponements, a lot of starts, a lot of stops. But this team is 7-4 in first place going into the Chicago Cubs series with that 3-game set in Wrigley Field. It's supposed to be another cold one, possible snow in the forecast. But when it comes to the Mets and Rockies series, the Mets played really well except for Game 2. Joey Lucchesi did not look good in Game 2 as the Mets lost 7-2 in the second game of the series, of the second game of the doubleheader. But overall, the Mets played extremely well in this series. There wasn't a lot of runs scored in this series, which was expected, but the Mets, in close games, are undefeated in a one-run ball game. And that's what we need early on in this season. We cannot give up early leads. We have to get ahead in games. One-run games are extremely important for this team, and they've been undefeated so far this season, early part of the season, but they've been very, very good in one-run ball games, and that's what we like to see. The bullpen's been good. Rotation's been good. Hitting's been getting there a little bit, but I like what I've seen from Michael Conforto. Hasn't been overswinging. Got a double, got a couple of hits in the series. Michael Conforto's been looking good. Lindor got the big hit in Game 1. The bench has looked good with Villar and Almora and Pilar. They all looked good. The defense looked good. Nimmo made a nice catch in center field yesterday. The Mets are continuing to show you that if they play to their capability, this team can be a serious contender in October. And there's no doubt about it. But the Mets took 2 out of 3 with the Rockies. Game 1, they won 4-3. Game 2 of the doubleheader, they lost 7-2. And in Game 3, they won 2-1. Taking this series in Colorado, in a snowy, cold Colorado. But the New York Mets did take 2 out of 3 of the series, which I'm happy with. Always want to be gritty. You want to take 3. You want to sweep the series. But 2 out of 3, all you got to do is win series, and you can easily get to 90 games, 90 wins plus with this Mets team, which is probably going to take about 92 to 93 wins to win this division, especially the way the division's been playing right now. Haven't been really good. But the big guys, the stars of the show in this Mets-Rockies series was Jacob deGrom pitching 6 solid innings, 9 consecutive strikeouts, 14 strikeouts, bringing his ERA to 0.46. And then you have the other star of the series, Marcus Stroman, 8 innings, solid performance, only gave up 1 run, got 3 wins on the season, knocking his ERA to 0.90 in the season. And we have a dominant 1-2 in this rotation. That's exactly what I want to see. And we got to continue that going to the Cubs series when we have Walker, Peterson, and deGrom pitching the rubber match of the series in Chicago. So the Mets took 2 out of 3 against Colorado going into the Chicago Cubs series. So the New York Mets, 2 out of 3 against the Rockies. Very good performance in Colorado. That is the series recap for the Mets versus Rockies. Don't forget, guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit on that like button. If you enjoy all my content, want to see more, want to get notified when I post my videos and when I go live, hit on that subscribe button, everybody. I want to thank you guys for watching, and as always, let's go Mets.